G'day ladies and gents, and just before we begin today's video, I'd just like to let you know that the Scottish Koala, another fellow YouTuber from Australia, has decided to start a little fundraiser for the bushfires that are going on in Australia currently. A lot of the funding will go to the RFS, the Rural Fire Service, the Australian Red Cross, and a koala hospital in Port Macquarie, which is a 3-hour drive north of me. Now, I'm going to put some money towards that as well. I encourage you guys strongly to do the same. Any support is much appreciated, and any money that we can get towards everyone here to put out these fires, to help the animals, and to help the victims who have lost their homes or lost parts of their property and livestock. Anything is much appreciated, and with that said, on with the video. So, today we begin our battle on Malta. This particular match is honestly one of the best matches that I've played in the J-29D. For one specific reason, and one specific reason only. Well, I lie. It's about 2 or 3 specific reasons. One, because I love this map, mostly because my family is from Malta, but it's also not a bad map for jets. It is fairly linear, it is fairly small, but it does give you some options to fight along the sides, especially up north of Gozo and south of Malta Island itself. You find some pretty good dogfights there. Not only that, but today I'm in the J-29D, which is a Swedish premium rank 5 jet. It is essentially a J-29A with an afterburner and better cannons. Sitting at 0.4 battle rating above, I would consider this a side grade to the J-29F, which is the J-29D, but instead of having 30 mils, it has 20 mils. It also has a dogtooth wing, and it also gets RB-24s, which are AIM-9Bs made by Sweden. So, what are we going to do in this battle, and what makes it so special? Why am I sort of hyping this up? Well, I'd like you to have a look at the guy on my team who's in green. This is Botmeister. Now, Botmeister is not squatted up with me, we're auto-squatted, rather. And this is going to be one of the most interesting things that you can possibly see when you have a look at teamwork. Now, I've been stressing a lot lately about teamwork, and I find that to be, with me personally, with my experience in War Thunder, the thing that I struggle with the most. Working with my team, and having my team work with me. Finding that synergy is incredibly important, and this is exactly what we're going to find today. You just sometimes get a random teammate that you synergize with so well that it's almost like you've been flying for years together. Now, I have seen that name around. I've seen Botmeister somewhere. I can't quite remember how long he's been around, but I do remember the name. And for me to remember a name, that means something special. He's something of a regular in jets, or I've seen him a lot in tanks, or I just see him play a lot at this particular time. But honestly, we're going to try and make this work. And at the beginning of the match, I don't realize that this particular gentleman is as switched on as I thought he was. I thought he's just, a regular player, sort of not quite thinking about everything else around him as much as I would have expected. But honestly, I think a lot of people are like that, including myself. And this is something that I'd like to see changed. Try to think of your teammates a little bit more, instead of doing what I'm doing at the start of the match and just sort of going all in and hoping someone comes and picks me up. Now, obviously, this is a good strategy when someone comes and picks you up, but in this case, I thought I was a little bit alone. Until Botmeister shows up. Now, you can see on the corner of the screen, there's a little green arrow, and on the minimap, that he's absolutely belting towards me with that F-40 Sabre. He's going to help me out with the G91 and the F9F, and this is going to leave me a little bit free. Now, I'm going to sort of go and help the rest of the team in the furball, where Botmeister is going to try and tie up these guys. And honestly, I probably should have come back for Botmeister, because whilst being in an F-40 Sabre and having a teammate around him, he turns out to be a lot more valuable than I originally thought. Never underestimate your team, because this is something that even I'm guilty of. I do this a lot, in fact. I seem to write off some members of the team and go, well, this person is not playing too well, and, I could have very well died here, so, that could have been me. Regardless, mistakes have been made, and nothing came bad of it. So, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try and engage this Shenyang F5. The F5 is extremely good in the vertical, but I also have an afterburner and don't turn incredibly well, so I won't bleed as much speed in a turn. However, there is a couple of planes behind me, and that MiG-17 is going to prove that he wants my booty hole. So what I'm going to do is switch off the afterburner and try and get him to overshoot. However, he's not really focusing on me, he's focusing on that F-86, F-35 over there. And so I'm going to switch the afterburner back on and try and clean him up. You see, what my teammates are doing, slowly but surely, whether unwittingly or not, is wearing down the opponent's energy. And if I can stay with that energy advantage for a long period of time, then that means that I can get a severe advantage over my opponents, giving me an easy shot and a lot more easy kills. But I'm now in a 3 versus 1. Now, I don't really have anyone to help me at the moment, but I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just thinking, you know what, I'm going to use the plane's advantages to get me out of this situation. And that is, if you put it in a slight dive, it will accelerate extremely well. Perhaps not well enough to accelerate the F2, maybe not to accelerate the FJ4, but certainly enough to get the G91 to piss off. So that's exactly what I've done. I'm going to put the air brakes out and lower the throttle in this case, because this is probably the only plane that you can sort of do that in. This plane does not perform well above 400 kilometers per hour, and it needs that low speed to do well in terms of its speed, but once you bleed your speed, you bleed your energy. And you can see that now that I've bled my energy, the F-86 F2 is able to sort of jet away without a problem. And so is the FJ4. The FJ4 isn't exactly renowned for its energy retention, but in this case it is able to get above me because I spent my energy poorly in order to make them overshoot. So now I'm in a little bit of a panic situation. I'm going to drop down to the deck, dodge a cheeky missile, and wait for another one to come along. I'm going to try and get them to turn in towards me so that they bleed energy themselves, and I'm hopefully able to get someone on my 6 that is going to clean them up. And here comes Botmeister. You can see he's already cleaned up one. He's on his way to clean up this either G91 or the FJ4, and it is going to start looking a lot better. I didn't realize this at the time because I was concentrating on the FJ4B, but you can see that he's slowly closing the distance on that FJ, and that little bit of tunnel vision on the FJ is pretty much exactly what I need to bait this guy perfectly for Botmeister. I'm going to make a turn, bait him in. The FJ4 goes a little bit vertical in order to try and keep a little bit of his altitude, and then without me even looking, he gets set on fire. Absolutely beautiful play there by the F40 Sabre there. G91 Pre is also going to be nice and slow because he's been turning Botmeister. And have a look at this. Look how slow this guy is. It's just an easy kill and a little spray and I get him. This is perfect. This is exactly what you need in a certain situation like this. So, now this friendly MiG-15 has brought me a little present, if you will. A Shenyang F5 and an F-86 F2. Botmeister and I are both on low energy, as you can see. We don't have much speed, and we don't have much altitude to convert into speed. So what we should be doing, ideally, is going in a straight line, but the Shenyang F5 is going to outrun us and Botmeister, and he very, very narrowly dodges that MiG-15, which probably would have gotten him otherwise if he hadn't been a little bit experienced. I'm guessing he is a very experienced pilot because I've seen him around, and honestly, mad respect. You'll see exactly now where this teamwork comes into play. The Shenyang F5 is going to start to perform some flat turns, but before that he's going to go into a little vertical loop, probably to avoid the F40 Sabre there on the ground, or to engage this guy here. But that puts him straight in front of my guns. But knowing me, I'm a terrible shot, and so, yeah, not really ideal. I would have loved to have gotten that kill to, thin the numbers a bit, but it doesn't really work that way at this point in time, and so I'm going to have to follow him around. And following him around, in this case, means flat turns. Never do this in jets, ever, because you're just going to bleed your energy and you're not going to do anything productive. This is something that, as you learn and as you become a better pilot, you'll figure out in time. So if someone is flat turning you, there are two things you can do. You can either extend, like what I've done, and hope that someone will come and clean them up, like Botmeister, because I have what I've discerned to be a reliable teammate. It's kind of hard to tell if someone is going to be reliable or not, but in this case, he's done 3 or 4 things that have given me a good indication that he's going to be a decent pilot. It looks like he's critically damaged the F5, but I don't really know if he's done it or not. he said that he's got a little bit of low ammo, and so I'm going to take it for him. I don't know if that was a kill steal, but at the same time, this is, he didn't say anything about it. I told him that I was going to attack him, and I didn't get a response. So I'm going to take it as if he's still a threat. The F2 is going to come in, he's going to put himself into a bit of a turn, and I'm going to put myself into a vertical loop so that I can dive on him and also reduce my speed, which will increase my turning rate in this case. The F2 goes into a nice little profile. I get a shot off and it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm going to roll around. He's been put on low energy by the other guys on the team, and I'm able to come in and sweep it up. You see, one of the best bits about War Thunder is when you get a good team that helps you in a situation where you need it, and also helps you in a situation where they need it. Because if someone needs to get someone off their 6, I don't know about you, but I'll gladly come and take that. If someone needs someone to be baited, well, I'm happy to slow them down for them. In this case, Botmeister and this Shen Yang did both. And so I am pretty much, I'm lost for words. A lot of the times in online games, you get teammates that do quite literally fuck all, and they don't even help you at all. They sort of let you die, they use you as bait, things like this. But in this case, we've had an absolutely fantastic team. And using my teammates as more than just bait seems to be working out just fine. Honestly, having a situation like this is the best experience that any War Thunder player can get. It's just, the level of reward emotionally is astounding. And it doesn't matter if you don't get as many kills. Having the battle time and the battle activity will get you Silver Lions in that case anyway. And in some cases, I think RP, I'm not quite sure. But I'll leave that for the Silver Lion grinding video that is, coming tomorrow. Shameless plug. So now what we're going to do is land and repair and rearm. Unfortunately for Botmeister, however, he overcooks his landing, and it looks like he's going to get a little bit close to the edge of the airfield. Unfortunately, he drops off the edge and crashes. So, whilst that's it for Botmeister, it's not it for the rest of the game. Well, I guess it's time to avenge him. See if I can take this win for him. See if I can, get him the RP and lines that he definitely deserves. This is what I would like to say as well about good teammates. I would like to have some sort of mechanism to commend good teammates. If someone baits for you, maybe you can, have an auto chat to praise or to, do something. And the more praises you get, the more awards you get. Perhaps you get, 50 golden eagles if you get 10 praises. Perhaps you get, something nice. Maybe a trophy, maybe a title in game. Something that would benefit the player for being a good teammate. Perhaps we get an MVP vote or something like that. And if they get a certain number, they get a neat title, like, team helper or team player or something like that. Something that would encourage people to do well and to help each other. Now, in this case, the MiG-17 has decided to come and strafe the runway. However, the Shenyang F5 and myself have managed to get off the airfield well before and get a little bit of speed. And at low speed, the J-29D is actually incredibly maneuverable. Not only that, but he's decided to go for the Shenyang, which means that I can get ready to intercept the MiG-17 as he makes his right-hand turn in towards the F5 again. This puts me in an excellent situation where I'm able to get a little squeeze off and take him out. Well done to the Shenyang F5. Honestly, if there was a way for me to upvote or to commend both of these players, I probably would. The Shenyang has done a fantastic job, whether on purpose or accidentally, at baiting the opponents for me, and you'll see this again with the last player, who's a subscriber by the way, so yeah, if you see him in game, say hi for me. And I'd also like to commend this particular guy for not being an asshole and for playing like a true champion. So, regardless, we're going to head over and try and find him. The Shenyang and I are sticking somewhat close together, and this is what you should be doing with your teammates. Try and stick somewhat close together. Maybe not so much as formation flying, but a sort of combat distance. You can see he's over there on my left-hand side, and this is exactly what you should be doing. Stay, say, maybe 500 meters apart, 600 meters apart, somewhere where you can quickly react to something that happens on the battlefield regarding your teammates. Something like this is awesome, honestly, and it is some of the most heartwarming stuff that you will ever find in a game of War Thunder. Having more than one teammate, not only just Botmeister, but the Shen Yang here, sort of stick with you. I think this guy does it from inexperience, but honestly, it's still a good thing. It is still a fantastic thing to have this sort of thing going on. I absolutely love it, and for me, who seems to struggle with teams, because the way I play and the way everything sort of works out in a battle, it's honestly one of the best things that I've seen in a very, very long time. This MiG-15 decides he's going to come up for me very quickly before realizing that the Shen Yang is a little bit slow, and so I'm able to use my energy retention to burst away and then roll over. Now, it's just a matter of me shooting down the MiG-15. If you're watching, mate, what I would have probably done, not trying to backseat game, but I would have probably extended, kept my speed, and perhaps tried to separate me and the Shen Yang. This is the important thing you have to remember. Separation is incredibly important in jets because it gives you enough time to engage with one person at a time, and remember, War Thunder is a numbers game. If you have more numbers than your opponent, then you are more likely to win by a larger magnitude than otherwise. You see, being a numbers game doesn't always save you though. You can see my aim isn't exactly great, and this is where I feel like I failed the F5, because he doesn't quite get shot down, but I'd imagine that he would be extremely damaged by this. And not only that, he could have well died if the MiG-15 was able to land the shots. Regardless though, I'm going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more lead, and I managed to pilot snipe for the ace. Well done to the MiG-15, well done to the Shen Yang, and well done to Botmeister in the F-86 F-40. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff that I absolutely love with War Thunder's just gameplay. When you get a team-based event happening in a battle, it is the most rewarding thing ever. It absolutely blows my mind when this happens because it doesn't always happen too regularly. But when it does, it is easily the most satisfying thing that you can possibly have in a game of War Thunder. No joke, and I say that completely seriously. It is the best thing to have a team that works together and works together extremely well. Nothing compares. But anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. I hope you consider your teammates and everyone around you in the next coming days, I guess. Remember the donation drive, take care, and I'll catch you next time.